challenge, so maybe things have been shaken up a little bit.
Well, it certainly has been shaken up. This is a gold medal match nobody was expecting. Russia versus the United States. Here come the Russians. Natalia, Erdynieva, Sayana, Tsyrempilova, and Ksenia Perova. I'm expecting you to say those names over and over again, Mike, until you've got them correctly.
Of course.
There they are. Yes, this is a bit of a surprise. Beating the #1 seeds, Korea, the Olympic champions, in the quarterfinals and in straight sets. Who could possibly have predicted that? Here come the Americans, the #11 seeds. Mackenzie, Brown, the veteran, Khatuna, Lorig, and one of the new faces, Nola Shepherd.
It's good to see USA getting into the medal matches with the women, because typically they've had a very strong men's team and they've just not quite delivered on the ladies' side. So this could be the start of things changing.
And they're taking it very seriously, the Americans, aren't they? They've just picked up a pretty good coach, I believe, who will be taking over in a few weeks' time.
They've just recruited Miss Songy Woo of the Great Britain team, formerly of the Mexican team, formerly of the Korean team. So this could be what a great situation for a coach to walk into. Hopefully walk into a medal-winning team.
Well, a good crowd, as always in Shanghai. They do come out and support their archery. They enjoy it, they appreciate it. And obviously very happy that they've seen China pick up the bronze. But everybody's staying in their seats for this final as well. Will it be the #8 seeds? Or will it be the #11 seeded Americans who take gold here in the women's team event? We get started with an 8 from Tsyrempilova.
Mediocre start. The Russian team is the most experienced team out there. They should be able to control this.
Are they going to give that a 9?
Yeah, I think
yes, they did.
Like I said, it's just got to touch the line, that's all. You can see her there, she's just adjusting her sight. She obviously felt that she deserved more.
And another 9, as you say. Okay. Solid, steady.
Yeah. And I'm sure USA are thinking, beatable.
I'm sure they are. Now here is their lead-off archer. Ooh. Drifted well to the right there as well. I don't think Nola Shepherd will be too thrilled with that.
At least she's still smiling. I think this is her first ever World Cup medal match, so I guess you're allowed to be nervous.
A solid 9.
Here comes Khatuna. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag from the Americans, so they fall behind early. Tsyrempilova making sure this is what you've got to do. If you've got a nice narrow lead at the midway point and you can fire a 10 in off the back of it, you're putting big pressure on your opponents.
Capitalise.
And if Erdynieva can follow that, 8's okay. It's only just an 8, but that may be good enough. Particularly with Perova, who is in good form here in Shanghai as well.
Yes. Not the last time we're going to see her.
No, she's surpassed expectations.
Okay.
That'll do. That's a 9. Well, it means the Americans have to be perfect.
Yep.
If they want to win this set.
And on the previous end, I think that's doubtful.
2 10s and a 9 will give them the share of the points. But it's huge pressure on Shepherd.
9, there's our number.
There's a 9.
Okay, 2 10s needed.
hear the coach there just encouraging young Nola Shepherd, as you say. Big, big step up in class for her, this. Mackenzie Brown gets a 9, so the set has gone.
It has.
So Khatuna Lorig could choose to experiment if she wished to. But so experienced. A well-travelled international athlete.
She's still struggling though.
Gets
She
a
shot a
high
pair
8.
of 8s there. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not. If anyone, she was the one I'd expect to step out there and deliver. But that's a bit of a.
Did she throw that last arrow away, knowing that there was nothing on it?
No, I honestly, I think you're going to always put maximum effort in, because if you shoot a perfect shot that feels great and it drifts left, you know there's a problem with the wind and you're going to adjust your sight. So you're never going to give up on that opportunity to check your sight.
So the United States, 50 on the first set.
I think there might be some words of wisdom being shared there.
By a soon-to-be departing coach, or soon-to-be moving on coach. Again, another look at some of the slow motions. Is archery like so many other sports? When it goes well, the athlete's brilliant. When it goes badly, oh, it's the coach. Get rid of the coach.
Of course not. It's a partnership and we all work together.
Put the PR book down. It is, though, in all seriousness, isn't it? You can't have a blame culture in a sport like this, can you? It's just
No.
you have to work in tandem, don't you?
You got to work together, try and find solutions, try and analyse what went wrong or what went well. And I'm sure a lot of people will leave Shanghai. Good experiences, bad experiences, reflect on them, and then get ready for the next World Cup in Antalya.
And it won't be too long to wait for that one before the show moves on to Turkey.
Just a few weeks.
Now then, 2 points banked by the number 8 seeds in the white. What can the Americans come up with in response? And it's young Nola Shepherd to lead off.
See on Khatuna's arm there, she's got Go LA. Was it LA 2024?
Well, I tell you, that's
Ooh, where's that gone?
that's a problem for Nola. Just
Okay,
getting
that's
a high 7.
I was worried it might have been worse than that when we couldn't see it.
But it's not a good start, not when you're down. Now that's more like it. That was nudging that X. You don't get a bonus point for hitting the X, but it does wonders for your morale and doesn't do much for the other team's morale. Yeah, there you go. LA 2024. Contributing a 9 as well.
Okay, well, it's their first in the gold, so it's progress. And time-wise, it's fine. They got time to spare. It's interesting. This might actually be a lower scoring match than the bronze medal match,
Yeah.
which is, it's strange how sometimes that can come about.
The Chinese trio will be disappointed if that happens, as the low scores continue. Another 8 there. That one was from Erdynieva. Perova will complete the sequence. Now, can she find a 10 from somewhere? She'll need it to keep them on level terms, and she goes 8. And
Okay.
that was a pretty unconvincing series there from the Russians.
Just all a bit wishy-washy.
Now that's opened the door wide open, but what can Nola Shepherd do as the lead-off shooter for the Americans? And she's not really found her range yet.
Okay.
She'll take an 8.
This is still, so we need 2 10s to really put pressure on, but it's all still to play for. Just to mention the long rods coming off the bows, they're called stabilizers, and they just help you hold the bow still. They do their job, they stabilize the bow. If you take them off, you can see your sight pin wobbling all over the place. They just iron out those vibrations and help hold the bow static in air while you shoot.
Is Khatuna with a solid 9. That set the bar pretty high.
Okay.
But it does give the Russians a chance.
3 points
Three
to play,
nines.
yeah. 3 points to play with.
Yeah, 3 nines, and they can share the points. And
Because if you're in the lead, you can just keep sharing the points until you.
yeah, but that from Tsyrempilova forces one of her teammates to find a 10. This has got to be a 9 or better to give Perova something to shoot at. Well, it's a 9. Now, if Ksenia Perova can find a 10, the Russians will think that will be a bonus point. So this is the first real high-pressure shot of this gold medal match. Perova, what can she find? No, it's a 9.
Good effort, but well, it keeps the match interesting for us anyway.
It does indeed. Things have changed. We saw a fairly straightforward win for China in the bronze medal match against Malaysia. They pitched a shutout. Not so here. It's 2-2.
You can see neither team is smiling. They're not. No one's happy with what they're doing. They're both just a little bit off the pace.
And I reckon the happiest of those 6 shooters right now is probably young Nola Shepherd, because I think the more this match goes on, the more she's going to grow into it. We saw that in the last series.
And also, if you've had obviously a shaky start, it might feel like she's got away with it because she's had a bad start, but we're still even Stevens. So she hasn't cost the team anything. So no, she might feel like she's got another chance to deliver.
Well, it's a fascinating gold medal match developing here. After a fairly comfortable win in the first set. For the Russians, it's gone the other way here. A narrow, but still a win for the Americans. They take it 51-50. And as you say, the score's not lighting any fires here. I wonder if the Chinese trio are watching this going, oh, this could have been us. This could have been gold. But no, they lost to this trio right here in the semi-final when it really mattered. Erdynieva will follow Tsyrempilova's 8 with...
And that, I know it's not a good score. That was not a good shot either. There was a lot of movement. I could see a little twitch in her front arm. That was the weakest shot I've seen from a Russian athlete in a long time.
And there will be a glint in the eye of the American trio with that, especially as Perova, who's the banker of this group, also notching an 8.
See, sometimes when you see a group like that off centre, it's because the wind has changed and all 3 athletes have shot with the same sight mark. But it does look like it's getting choppier. You can see the trees in the background there just swinging around.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a breeze. Let's see what Shepherd can come up with here. I'll tell you, if she gets a big score, that's going to really put momentum behind the Americans. That'll do. It's steady. It's solid.
Mac, come back. Mac, come back. Thank you.
But that's interesting, isn't it? Because it's drifted the same way as all the Russian arrows, drifting off to the left.
So just to point out, America just done a foot fault there. And the judge is saying they've done a foot fault again. So now she's having to pick her arrow up. Now she's shooting again. So that's because they have to. One athlete has to be totally clear of the line before the next one can go on. And the judge obviously felt there was a discrepancy there. So now
9 to 12.
they're now eating into the time they should be using in the next 3 arrows.
We're good.
So the 3 arrows after this might be really tight for time.
9.
Well, that was a big 9 from Khatuna Lorig.
So the clock has paused at 46 seconds, and they normally take 52 maybe, so the next 3 arrows is going to be difficult.
We're good. We're still ahead. We're good.
Tsyrempilova with an 8. This one's a nail biter. This could go either way.
Especially if America don't actually shoot their last arrow.
Exactly. Exactly. I tell you, if Nola Shepherd gets off to a slow start, that's really going to heap pressure on the followers now. And that's talking about heaping pressure on. What about that from one of the Russians that hasn't found her best form yet in Sayana, Tsyrempilova? And can her teammate, Ksenia Perova, follow that? Oh, she'll take a 9.
Solid. That does put pressure on. Right, you see this countdown clock. So it's the clock right next to where it says USA.
And they need 3 nines to win this set.
I don't know if they can even shoot 3 arrows in 35 seconds.
And the clock's ticking, and there's an 8. Now, 2 nines and an 8, they'll share. So can Brown find a 9?
25 seconds left.
If she can find a 10, that's going to give Lorig something to work with. But it's an 8. It's an 8. And so this has got to be perfect from the veteran now.
She's got 10 seconds left, which is probably enough for her. She's got a quick, efficient technique.
But she needs a 10. And doesn't get it. And doesn't get it. The Russians edge in front once again. But it's another low scorer.
I wish we could have a replay of what that foot fault was. Because she obviously got it wrong like 2 or 3 times. She was stepping backwards and forwards. So it should have only cost her a few seconds, and instead it probably ended up costing 10 or 15.
Which is why the tally is 48. So the Americans have come up with a 50, a 51 and a 48. The Russians 53, 50 and 50. But it's all about whether you're walking away with a gold medal at the end of it all. The scores don't matter so long as you get the points.
No, absolutely. You're in these matches depending on what you've done previously in the week, so...
Well, there's no wiggle room now for the number 11 seeds. The Americans have got to win this set to set up a shoot-off. A share gives Russia the gold. Who would have believed we were talking about the gold in the women's team discipline being Russia or America? Where are the Koreans? Where are Chinese Taipei, the number 2 seeds, beaten by Malaysia? The Russians, they've earned their place in this final by beating the number 1 seeds now. Nola Shepherd. That's a nice 9, and the coach enjoyed that. Yeah, he was happy.
She's happy too, so...
She's got better. She looked shaky in the first set, and she's really settled down. Mackenzie Brown, very experienced on the circuit, picks up an 8.
Because our point of view, it'd be great for USA to win this set, so then we can have a shoot-off. Just so the people at home can see something different.
Khatuna Lorig. A nice solid 9 as well. Now that's as good a 3 arrows as we've seen from this American trio. Tsyrempilova.
Good response.
Yeah, she's found her range. If Erdynieva can follow that, that will demoralize the Americans. Oh, they'll take an 8. They'll take an 8. They only need a share of this set, remember, to win gold. Perova. A 9 gives Russia the lead at the midway point of this set. There it is.
Still doesn't feel as everyone's grabbing this medal. It feels like...
It feels like they're working hard against the wind. It feels like they're walking uphill and the wind's sort of blowing downhill, and they're just battling it. Everything's a bit of a fight for all of them.
You can see the little bit of cotton on the end of her long rod there. There's some wind, but it's not exactly blowing a gale. Another gold.
Really impressed with the way Nola Shepherd has just worked her way into this final. Back-to-back 9s, just confirming that. Now Mackenzie Brown really needs a big one here. Yeah,
solid.
Close to the 10, but can't argue with a 9. And if Khatuna Lorig can get a 10 here, that'll mean that the Russians will need 3 9s to take gold, and that's
a 9.
It's given a little bit of breathing room there for the Russians. A 9.98 will be enough. And I tell you what, if Tsyrempilova can replicate her first arrow, which she does, with a 10, and that should settle the destination of the gold, and I think she knows it. Look at the smile on her face. It'll be an even bigger smile if Erdynieva can follow suit.
Nice and smooth. That's very nice.
Well, what are the odds that Ksenia Perova is going to get a 7 or higher?
I think pretty good.
It would be a massive shock if she fails. And there it is. That's how you win a gold medal. Wrap it up.
Okay, it felt like they come out there to actually win that time. That was great.
And it was comfortably their biggest aggregate of
Still
all
not
the sets as well, 56.
Yeah, that was good. There's still not big smiles though. I think they know that
It's hard work.
that wasn't their best performance. You know, sometimes I can relate to that. You might have won the match, but frankly, you know, you could have done better. And I think that's the scenario they've got there.
Maybe they peaked in their semi. They beat the #1 seeds, Korea. They have not fluked their way to a gold
No, that's
medal.
very true. That will be the thing they take away from this competition, to be honest with you. Yes, it's nice to have a gold medal, but to beat the dominating archery team, that'll be something they remember for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely right. A well-deserved gold medal for Natalia, Erdynieva, Sayana, Tsyrempilova, and Ksenia Perova here. Taking the gold, winning it 3-1 against the United States team. All 3 of their shooters contributing 10s when they were needed. And it was Perova that sealed the deal. But as Mike so rightly said, they weren't wreathed in smiles at the end of this one, were they? It was job done. They knocked off the #1 seeds in the semi-final. They've taken out the #11 seeds in the final. And confirmation that Russia have won this gold medal match 6-2. And here at Shanghai.